Hi, this is Christine with Eastridge High School FACS Kitchen. We're going to be making our potato soup today. I have 1 cup of water, 2 cups of milk. I have our mirepoix sauteed, chicken base, salt and pepper, cheese, bacon and chives as a garnish, parsley. Our potatoes have been parboiled, heavy whipping cream, 1/3 cup flour, and 1/3 cup butter. We're going to start off by turning our stove top on to about a 7 medium-high heat. We're going to start off adding using a spatula, getting all that yummy grease, I know, from the bacon grease fat, but that'll make it tasty, out of our container. And that was our mirepoix that we sauteed yesterday. Then we're going to add in all of our seasoning, salt, pepper, chicken base, making sure that we do get all of that out of there, otherwise our soup is going to be a little bland. And watch what I do to get it off of my spatula. I'm going to take my milk, put my spatula in there as we go, soften it up. If it still didn't come off, we'll do it with the water as well. Starting to come off a little bit. And then go ahead and scrape it off with my finger and off again. One of you needs to stand here and briskly stir this with a wooden spoon, which actually I don't think I have a wooden spoon at my house. Isn't that crazy? But I'm going to go ahead and stir this continuously for about 10 minutes until that it's warm, and we don't want it to boil at any point. So you should be hanging on with your helper hand with an oven mitt, which I don't have, and a wooden spoon, which I don't have. My goodness, Mrs. I. All right, we're going to start that. While that's cooking for 10 minutes, we're going to start our our roux, placing 1/3 cup butter into the pan on a medium-high heat, melting the butter. And we're going to stir this in a figure 8. Again, I don't have my wooden spoon, but it is going to be stirred in a figure 8. And we'll come back to that in a minute after it gets going, and I'll show you how to make your light roux. Our butter is melted, can you see that? And then we're going to add the flour, 1/3 cup, 1/3 cup, so it's an eye for an eye when you're making a roux of your butter and your flour. I'm going to briskly stir because I want this to not be clumpy. I'm going to turn my heat down, and oh my, that's alright, accidents happen. And briskly stir this until we have it foamy, bubbly, and a light colored roux. We do not want the dark gravy because our soup needs to be white. Okay, we're almost there. Turn it down a little bit more. You can see my figure 8 being made, and that's a lovely smell Mrs. I's got going on there with her butter. Touching that. Notice it's just about ready. And what do we need to do? Who can tell me? Cool the roux, right? We have to cool the roux before we put it directly into the soup. So I am going to turn my burner off, place this back, let it cool, and clean up my mess then, before we whisk it into our soup. Let's check where our soup's at. It's been about 3 minutes. We still have about 5 more minutes. That'll give us some time for our roux to cool, and then we can combine that. We'll be back in a minute. Okay, so we're going to slowly pour our slightly cooled roux in there. It would be better if I had a partner helping me, but that's just what I've got for hands right now. So we're getting all of our roux into our hot soup base, which is our milk, water, and mirepoix, and our seasonings. Now we've got the roux in there. And if you remember and recall, roux is going to be a thickening agent. It's going to make our soup become thicker. And the reason we did it over there that way is so that it didn't coagulate and clump. Like if you've ever had your mom or your grandma's or your aunt's gravy at Thanksgiving that's clumpy, that's maybe what they did wrong. So We're going to continue to cook this for about another 5 minutes, and we'll be back in a minute. Okay, we're going to now, you can tell that our soup has thickened slightly, starting to stick. And I definitely need to turn this down now because we're starting to boil, so I'm going to adjust. And as always, when you're cooking, use your best common sense. You don't need to wait for Mrs. I to turn it down. You can go ahead and turn it down on your own. These potatoes are a little slightly overcooked. They're kind of a small cut. This is one of the students' potatoes, but that's okay. Yours will probably be a little bit thicker and maybe not quite as well done. Adding our heavy whipping cream, that's going to add flavor and creaminess, making sure I get all of that cream out of our container. We don't throw these containers away, we wash them and save them. The tiny little containers can be discarded though. Then next I'm going to add in my parsley. Parsley or our fresh herbs are always added last so that the nutrients and color stays vibrant. Now we're going to go ahead and keep stirring our soup. We're going to cook it until everything is warm and it's thick and as tasty as we like. So we'll be back in a few minutes. I'll let you know how long that took, and then we'll see how it tastes. Our soup is done. It only took about another 5-6 minutes on a very low, simmer low temperature because you could burn it pretty easily. Constant stirring. A nice thick soup. You want to ladle it out. Do about 1.5 per student, and then you're going to come over and garnish with cheddar cheese. I think actually this is a Colby Jack, a little bit of chives, and some fresh bacon bits, and there you have your potato soup. Enjoy! And I just wanted to add that my mother, whose mother made potato soup, so my great-grandma, she sprinkles on celery salt just before eating as a garnish and feels that that celery salt really adds some flavor. So we'll have that available as a garnish if you'd like.